So good morning everyone and welcome to our latest webinar, Hands-On with SPARTAN Linear. I just want to start by saying thank you for everyone who's attending. Good to see some familiar names on there, and some people who are new to RayTech as well, which is always good to see. Obviously we're doing this from home today. We've been doing a few webinars recently which have been good to keep interacting with our customers and speak to you all. So good to do that again today. And just to mention that obviously we're doing this from home, but RayTech are still open. We're still receiving orders and building new products, and that continues on. So just firstly to give an introduction to myself and who you'll hear on the webinar today. So my name is Callum Ryder. I'm the marketing manager at RayTech. I will also be joined by Charlotte Loudon, who's also part of the marketing team, and also the man doing most of the hard work, Andy Oliver, who's our area sales manager. So they're the voices which you'll hear throughout today's webinar. So before we get started, just to quickly run you through the format of what the webinar will be. So after my quick introduction, we'll pass over to Charlotte and Andy, who are going to run you through the walkthrough of SPARTAN Linear and show you some of the key features of the product. We had planned to do that live, but we decided it was best to pre-record in the end. So that section of the webinar, which lasts around 10 or 15 minutes, is pre-recorded, partly because Andy, who will be running us through it, his internet connection isn't the best. He's based in deepest, darkest Lincolnshire, where I think he's possibly still using dial-up internet. So we thought it'd be best to pre-record so you get the best possible quality and images of the product. But we will be doing a live Q&A at the end with myself and Andy. So you may be able to see on your GoToWebinar panel, there's a questions section there, which you can use to type out any questions. So if you type those in and submit those as the webinar goes on, we'll cover those at the end and pick those up. So feel free to put those as we go through, and then there'll also be an opportunity to put those in at the end as well. So I think that covers the quick introduction, what the format will be. Hopefully you find it useful and get to know a little bit more about SPARTAN Linear and what the features and benefits of the product are. So the next voice you'll hear will be Charlotte, who'll kick us off.
Okay, let's get started. So our SPARTAN Linear luminaires are one of the core products in the RayTech range, offering a number of benefits for our customers who require new installations or a retrofit solution for existing fluorescent luminaires. Two of the main benefits of SPARTAN Linear are ease of installation and ease of maintenance. Starting with installation, Angie is going to show us some of the key features as to why SPARTAN Linear is so easy to install.
The key to easy installation is focused on three things: dimensions, cable entries and fixing centres. When replacing a traditional fluorescent, these three criteria should match the existing fitting as closely as possible. So looking at each of these in a little bit more detail. The dimensions. The SPARTAN Linear range comprises of three different sizes: 2 foot, 4 foot and 5 foot. The 2 foot fitting, which is the unit we have here today, is a common replacement for most 2x18 watt fluorescents. We also offer this in a 4 foot version, which is designed to replace 2x36 watt fluorescent, and as a 5 foot, which is a good substitute for a twin 5 foot fluorescent unit. Using the same dimensions means that the existing cabling can be reused, which can have significant cost savings at the installation phase. Looking at the cable entries, the SPARTAN Linear can also be supplied with the same size and number of entries as your traditional fitting. M20 is the UK standard, which is the standard that the fitting comes with, as you can see here, but we can also offer other sizes on request, such as M25 or 3/4 NPT. This means that the existing cable glands could be reused, providing they meet the area classification, again helping to save money during the installation. There are 2 entries at each end of the fitting, which allow for through wiring, so 2 blanked entries there, and 1 blanked and 1 which is left open for the cable gland of your choice. As I said, this is set up for through wiring, but the fitting is also designed to be used as loop in, loop out as well. So looking at the fixing sensors, the SPARTAN Linear is designed with the same fixing sensors as existing fluorescents. It comes with both M6 and M8 tap mounting holes as standard, as you can see here, M8 and two M6s. These fixing sensors are located in the same position and have the same thread and depth as a traditional fluorescent, which means the same brackets could be reused. Having the same dimensions, cable entries and fixing sensors means that SPARTAN Linear makes easy installation quick and cost effective when replacing existing fluorescents.
We also have specified variants available for applications where wiring to another luminaire is not required. Andy, please can you tell us a little more about the SPARTAN Linear loop-in loop-out variants?
We've shown you that the units are available to through wire as standard, but if you only need to loop in, loop out, we can also supply them with a blanket end cap to help reduce costs further where necessary. And basically what you have is standard fitting at that end, and at the other end we just have an end cap there. So this only comes with two M20 entries or entries of your choice at the one end. This option, I would point out, is only available for standard non-emergency products.
So now we've covered how easy SPARTAN Linear is to install, we'll turn our attention to the other main benefit, ease of maintenance. Andy, please can you show us some of the features that make this luminaire so easy to maintain?
Yes, looking at the maintenance aspect, SPARTAN Linear products come with a maintenance-friendly modular design, which is done to allow for quick and easy servicing and inspection of all the key components, including the LED and the PSU modules. Before we show you some of the features, it's worth mentioning that virtually all the maintenance can be carried out using an M5 hex tool. This makes life much easier for anyone carrying out the maintenance. So, looking at the PSU first. So, the power supply is housed in the lid of the end cap. It requires just two bolts to be removed and can be easily replaced. So, just to show you how quick and easy it really is. And there we have the power supply off the main body. It also comes with a retaining clip such that when on site there's no danger of the power supply falling off the fitting and causing any injury. Once inside, the terminal blocks that we use are a standard push fit. Again, we can use the same tool, which is just push down and take the cable out. And for replacing, exactly the same procedure, and that's done and secure. This allows for much quicker maintenance. Turn the fitting back together, exactly the opposite, and quick and easy. So moving on to the emergency batteries for emergency fittings, and here's one I prepared earlier. Exactly the same feature. So we have two M5 hex head bolts, which we'll undo, and here you can see again on a safety cap is the emergency battery. For replacing of this means taking off these four bolts, cutting the cable ties and putting the new battery pack on, and then to replace exactly the same and refit the fitting. So as you can see, very quick, easy and user friendly for the maintenance.
Thanks Andy. So now we know that as well as being easy to install, the SPARTAN Linear is also easy to maintain. As Andy stated, this helps to reduce lifetime costs. Another important benefit is the emergency functionality. All SPARTAN Linear luminaires are available as emergency variant. Andy, please can you tell us more about this product?
Yes, as standard, all emergency fittings provide 3 hours of backup illumination at 25% output power. However, and one of the key features of the Raytec range is that we can supply these fittings with up to 100% power but for shorter durations. The intelligent emergency system also self-tests the emergency batteries to ensure the health of the batteries and there are no faults within the system. And this is all communicated to the user via a tricolour LED. Here you can see one on a zone 2 power supply. And basically this will run at green when healthy, amber or flashing amber when performing a self-test or when it's in commissioning mode, or red or flashing red when it finds a fault.
If you need more detail about the different tests which Spartan Intelligent Emergency Luminaires undertake, there's a video attached in the handout section displayed in your control panel. We have also attached an article, 3 things to consider when choosing an intelligent emergency luminaire. Finally, Andy, are there any other features of Spartan Linear you'd like to tell us about?
So another of the key features with the Raytec range is how we can instantly identify a fitting just by the colour of the body. So here you can see that we have the Zone 1 fitting, which is painted light grey. We have the Zone 2 fitting, which is dark grey. We also have an industrial version of this, which we paint white. These different colours make it instantly identifiable from ground level to be able to see what type of fitting has been installed. The Spartan Linear fitting has also been designed to be IP66 and IP67 without ledges, which would allow for the accumulation of dust or water. Just to show you one of the features, here you can see this raised ledge, which when installed acts as a drip shield, so any water gathers here and drips off the fitting and can't work its way into the LED light engine. Additionally, we have the stainless steel nameplate. So what you have on here, it's laser etched and mechanically fixed to the fitting, so you have all the certification details, the part number and the serial number. This is perfect for offshore environments as it ensures that the nameplate remains attached throughout the life of the fitting, and the writing on there, which obviously is very important, remains legible at all times. We also offer a diffused front lens which can be used to soften the light and reduce glare if necessary. So if you've ordered a standard fitting, it will come with a clear lens as you see here. So you can order from us diffused, which is this one, or double diffused lens, which can be retrofitted after it has been installed. It's nice and simple. M3 Allen key or hex driver, undo these 10 bolts. The fitting or the diffuser, when it's supplied by us, comes with these bolts fitted, so it is literally a case of taking that off, popping those on and screwing it back in place.
Thanks, Andy. Another thing worth mentioning is our comprehensive 5-year warranty, which is available with Linear and all other products in the Spartan range. If you'd like to know more about the features that we've discussed today, please don't hesitate to get in contact with our sales team at hassales@raytecled.com and we'll be happy to discuss any requirements with you. Thank you for listening, and Callum is now going to run a Q&A session, so we'll do our best to answer any of the questions you have.
So if you bear with me, I'm just going to share my screen again. So as Charlotte said, we're going to shortly have a quick Q&A session. So if you have any questions, now's the time to get those in on the panel. Go to webinar pane. So if you add any questions in there, we'll cover those. Before we do that, just have a very quick recap of the points which Andy and Charlotte went through. So I think one of the things that we really mentioned there and wanted to reinforce is the easy installation, both for new installations and existing ones where fluorescents are being replaced through to those matching dimensions. cable entries and fixing centres. The easy maintenance, thanks to that unique modular design and the ease of being able to change power supplies and other components on the luminaire, and also emergency performance. So industry-leading emergency performance up to 100% output on emergency, and the durations as well, combined with that ability for the self-test of the intelligent emergency luminaires. So that's just a recap really on the points we've covered there, and to mention those in summary. So we're now going to move on to the live Q&A. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and share my video. Andy, if you could do the same.
Morning all.
So I think we have had some questions in. Let's just have a quick look through, if you bear with me. So the first one, Andy, I'll put you. So if I'll read these out, and if you could just give us some additional information. So the first one,
yep.
Is it possible? I've just missed the. This is from Marcel. Is it possible to have a three-phase through wired LED fitting?
Morning, Marcel. Yes, I believe it is. The junction box, sorry, the terminal block in the fitting is a 5-pole unit. So to the best of my knowledge, yes, you can. I do think we do need to mark that on the certification when the fitting is dispatched. So I would double check that, but best of my knowledge, yes, that is possible.
Great. Yeah, the next one, this is from Sabarish. So could you please let me know the beam patterns for Spartan Linear fixtures?
Okay, so at present the Zone 1 linear is a 120 by 97 beam pattern, and the Zone 2 version is 120 degree circular. The reason for this is that the optics on the LED on the Zone 1, so this black encapsulation does prevent a little bit of the light going in the true circular beam pattern, which we don't have in the Zone 2 version. We have got a updated version of linear coming out at the back end of the year, which is the generation 2, and we should be able to offer multiple beam patterns with that when that's launched.
Yeah, I think just to say as well that I think the way that the linear was designed as well as in the same way that it's designed to be easy to replace those existing fluorescent fittings as well as to have to mimic that in terms of performance and output as well. So obviously gives improved benefits on top of that, but I think as well just it's in terms of the output and the way that comes out of the fitting is to match that of an existing fluorescent as well. Next question. So this one is from Kenjiro. So how can it identify, so as regards to the intelligent emergency operation, how can it identify usual power off and on in real emergency case? So I guess that's to do with the emergency indicator which you mentioned, Andy.
Yeah, so as we said in the video, when power is supplied to the fitting in a normal healthy mode, you'll have a green LED on the power supply. If we go into an emergency situation, that LED indication goes off completely, so there's nothing there. Obviously, your focus at that stage is getting out of the room and not checking on the status of the fitting. Obviously, when power is resumed, the fitting would go back to green if it considers the system to be healthy, or it would go back into commissioning or charging mode, in which case the unit would be static or flashing amber.
Yeah, I suppose just to talk a bit more about the intelligent emergency. So I suppose one of the key features we push on that is that it obviously reduces the amount of manual intervention and sort of checks that are required with emergency luminaires. Is that a fair comment, Andy?
It is, yeah. The intelligent emergency power supply runs a random self-test facility. So if you've got multiple units installed on the same site, the chances of all the fittings going into a self-test mode at the same time are very, very random, very, very rare, sorry. So that's one of the built-in features. The self-test feature runs a test of the luminaire, so the light engine, the power supply, and the batteries. So you're getting a full test across the whole spectrum of components within the fitting.
Yeah, and I think as Charlotte mentioned during the webinar, there's a couple of handouts which are available on the webinar. So there should be a handout section which you can drop down. So there's an article on there which goes through a bit more information about the intelligent emergency, which Sandy touched upon there. So it goes through the different operations which it carries through, and the different tests, and also some of the benefits and features which have been built into it as well. And there's a little video, so if you do want to know a little bit more about that intelligent emergency feature, there's a couple of handouts there, article in the video, which you can have a little look through. Next one is from Graham. Are the fixtures also marine approved? If so, which class?
Yes, they are. We have ABS approval across the range, be it linear, bulkhead, flood, or high power flood. To the best of my knowledge, most bodies will accept ABS approval, or if you've got one of the marine approvals, such as ABS, DNV, Lloyd's, most of the other bodies generally accept that as being acceptable.
Great, thank you. Next one is from Lee. He asks about the PSU, whether that's covered by the 5-year warranty.
Yes, it is. So the whole fitting is covered by the 5-year warranty, with the exception of the batteries, of course. That is a 12-month warranty, I believe, Callum.
Yeah, that's part of the standard offer, obviously with that being a consumable item.
Yeah, but yeah, the PSU full 5 years.
Yeah. Next question was one from Chris. It says, can the LED module be removed and replaced if required?
Yes, it can. Yeah. Again, I'll show you the unit I've got here. So to replace the LED, the light engine, a little bit more complicated. So you need to take off the power supply end cap, which is where the light engine is wired to. Then you need to take off undo the 10 bolts that hold the lens in place. Get my bearings right. So once you've taken off this end cap, there are 5 bolts inside of here, which hold the base of the end cap onto the body of the fitting. You undo that. Once you've done that, you can see there are 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 that hold the light engine in place. You undo that, then you can lift it out, pull the wires through, and then it's a repeat of that process in reverse to put it back together. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes. The Zone 2 is a little bit easier because it's a solid body and it just lifts off. Zone 1's a little bit trickier. You need a little hook or something just to pick up on these little holes just to stop the light engine falling through. But yeah, 10 or 15 minutes and it's job done.
Yeah, I think one thing to say with that as well is that obviously we showed the PSUs being changed, which is very easy, can be done within 1 or 2 minutes. I think in terms of changing the LED modules is something we don't expect would be required in the lifetime of the unit. So while it is possible and there's that functionality there, it's not something which would expect someone to need to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the next one was from Brian, which was about spare parts. So can spare parts be held on site?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's a modular design, we constantly have the parts required to build up the linear fitting, all fittings for that matter, always in stock at Raytech. So yeah, if you want to keep any stock of spares, not an issue. The only word of caution we would probably advise is battery packs, because they have a shelf life. They do discharge themselves over time. So that would probably be the only one I would probably advise against. But yeah, everything else, not a problem.
Great. Another one from Graham. What is the maximum terminal size inside the fitting?
So the standard terminal block, which is the push fit that I showed you in the video, is a 4mm terminal block. We can go up to a 6mm, which is a Weidmuller BK66 terminal block. So for that, you need to add a suffix of ST to the part number. So for the Zone 1 linear in the video, it would be SPX-WL84-ST.
Yeah, that's quite a good point as well. So obviously, the standard unit comes with, with standard spec, but I think what we would say is that if you have requirements and there's things unique to your application or things like terminal block sizes or anything else, then speak to us, and usually we can find a solution. So there is flexibility on the standard one, and that's something we pride ourselves on being able to meet the different requirements, because obviously we realize that every application can be different and have different requirements. So the terminal size is a good example, but there's lots of other things like color temperature LEDs is another one we get commonly. So all we'd say is just speak to us, and if there's anything we can do, we'll do our best to help you.
Absolutely. I think we've done over 300 different variations of the WL84, so most things are possible.
Yeah. So having a look through few final ones. Is there any DALI option available? Rico?
At present, no. We do have DALI as standard on high power flood range, but on the linear, it isn't something that we currently offer. We are a very flexible company, and we will always look into the possibility. We do find that DALI isn't a particular popular request within the linear range, but that said, if it becomes more and more prevalent, then we will look to try and incorporate it where possible.
Yeah. Next question is from Kenjiro. Is it possible to switch existing lens to another type of lens easily? So I think that was something you showed us earlier on, Andy.
Yeah.
So tell us again, just remind us again about the different lens options available.
Yeah, so we have, so the fitting comes with a clear lens, a standard that you can see here. Options are a single diffused, which was that light opal I showed in the video. There's a double diffused, which is a much heavier opal translucent version. But yeah, very easy to replace on site once it's already fitted. These 10 bolts, take those off. The new lens will come with the bolts fitted and the gasket. So it's literally take those off with an M3 hex tool, pop the new one on, and yeah, done and dusted again. No more than 5 minutes and that's done.
Yeah.
Can also be ordered as a diffused or a double diffused version from the factory. So that would be a suffix of -D or -DD.
Yeah, so 2 options there. So one, you could retrofit them and put the new lens on once it's installed in the field if you feel that was to be required, or you can order it with those pre-fitted. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Kenjiro. I think that was most of the questions. So if we'll stay on for a little while just in case there are any more. I'm just having a quick check through to make sure I haven't missed any. There's one more from Shabarish about reduced power version. So Andy, I'm not sure if you can tell us anything about availability of reduced power versions of Spartan Linear.
Yeah, so it's not a standard option, but it is possible. So we have done in the past a 50% reduced power, which was a part number suffix of RP50. Best of my knowledge, again, we can do different variations. If you want 25%, I'm sure that's doable. 75%, not a problem. Some of those things can often be affected by the use of the diffused or double diffused lenses. So the lens would reduce the output by about 25% on the double diffused. So maybe not necessarily to go to a 75% output, just use a different lens. But if you need more or a lower output fitting, then yes, we can adjust the power supply.
Yeah, so yes, I think overall message there on reduced power is something we can do, but there may be other options as well, depending on what your requirements are. So if it's something which you have a requirement for, then let us know. We can look at what options you'll need for that. There is one more here. I'm not sure if we'll be able to show this, Andy. It's from Kumaresh. Can I see the heatsink and how you assembling internal parts? So I don't think we'll be able to show them the actual heatsink, but I think obviously you showed the LED module there, which just have its own heatsink as part of.
Not immediately I can't, but I'm more than happy to take the fitting to pieces and do a separate little PowerPoint, put it on to a little presentation and send that to you. That's not an issue at all.
Yeah, I think the overall, just a thing to add to that about heatsink and keeping the LEDs cool, that's something that Raytech do throughout our product. So, and through every product we do, the key is to make sure the LEDs run cool. That's what gives us the good performance and lifetime. So, every product which we manufacture is thermally managed to ensure the LEDs run cool, and there's sufficient thermal management on there. But yeah, happy to show you in more detail if there's offline to show you some more detail about that heatsink and where that sits and how it works. So that was most of the questions. We'll hang on again for another couple of moments. There is actually another one there from Rico again. Is there a pole mount adapter available? So Andy, do you want to just pick that one up?
Yes, so we have a couple of options there. So the primary option is a pole mount kit, which is fixed into the mounting points on the back. So that comes with, when you order any kit, mounting kit from us, it comes as a kit to do that complete luminaire. So you don't have to order 2 pole clamps, it will just order 1 kit. We offer those in a range of diameters to suit different diameter poles. I believe we are also looking into a spigot mount version. We've had that in the past, but we did stop it because it wasn't quite right. The spigot mount version will basically be an adapter that goes on to the end. Let's get the video right. And then it holds the fitting out, which would be designed for going on the end of a lighting pole or as an outreach bracket. It would only really be available for the 2 foot. I think there's too much weight in the 4-foot fitting to make it viable. Yeah,
I think just to add to that as well. So if you want to look at some other bracketry options which are available, if you go on our website and on any product page, so for Spartan Linear, there's a little download section there which has a bracketry guide that shows all the different mounting options available. There's the whole host of options on there, from ceiling mount brackets, pole mount brackets. You have some magnetic mounts. So if you need to have a look through the different options, take a look on there. And of course, you always have the option, given this is designed for retrofit solutions as well, that if you have existing fluorescents installed, because we've designed the fixing centers and the dimensions in the same way, that you can use existing bracketry as well. So take a look at the bracketry guide on the website. That might be useful for you, but again, just bear in mind that if you're replacing existing fittings, then you can always utilize existing bracketry as well. So I think that is most of the questions. Again, we'll just hang on in case there's any more which come in. Just to mention as well that we will put this recording onto the website after this. So if you want to have a watch back, you can see this again. We'll put a recording on. We'll have another session at 4 p.m. as well, 4 p.m. today, just in case anyone wants to remind themselves. But we'll have a session at 4 p.m. and then later in the week we'll have this live on the website, just in case you want to take a look through any of the little bits we've covered today. Yeah, so I think that seems to be most of the questions. I think we'll turn our cameras off now. You've probably seen enough of me and Andy for one day, so we'll turn them off. We'll hang on just for a couple of minutes, just in case there's any more questions. But I think just to say thanks again for everyone for attending, for the great questions, much appreciated, and hopefully you found this session useful. So thanks very much, and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.